Okay. Got microphone? Yes, I do. I'm CraftyAndy. You should be subscribing to this channel and watching everything I do now and forever. Don't a lot of time today. This is an odd day where I'm going into the job later due to circumstance. Let's see, I need to grab my shit here. Alright. Ink. Got my pen nibs here. Today we're going to be adding some details to good old Alex here. I'm finishing off some of the line work here. So, where do we start? And I'm going to try to think of things to talk about in order to keep this kind of relatively interesting. So, I don't know. I mean, as I mentioned a couple days ago, things went well at the Artist Alley, Detroit, Motor City FurCon. That was great. I did get a commission to do an okay meme. I just finished that one. He liked it, so I'm going to share it. Pull this out too while we're at it. Alright, let's have a quick few things to laminate here too while we're at it. Print a few more copies of my book. So yeah, there we go. There it is. Troge, I think is his persona's name. He wanted more along the lines of the actual like figure of the original person who inadvertently made the meme a reality. So I think I accomplished it, and well, the commissioner thinks I accomplished it too, and that's all that matters. What the client wants. I'm gonna fix it a little bit there. A little bit of detail. Let's go away there. Yeah. There we go. Let's get this lamination fixed. Printing more of these copies of these stickers here. A bunch of these sold too. It was very, I guess it's very validating and revealing to me that people were actually interested in my Skull Kid comic and my Furry Menace comic. So, yeah, I was pretty surprised by all that and glad it resonates with some people. It was also very reassuring when someone reads it in front of you and they're laughing at the dialogue that you wrote. And it's like, okay, maybe I do have something. Alright, where do we start with this asshole here? Let's see, this is my gum. Here we go. Don't you go. Alright, I need my camera. God damn it. There. Okay. Get out of there. Get off. Yeah, some of the lamination was coming off of that, so I fixed it. I think. Okay, good. Batteries in here. Fix this up. Open window because it's getting hot. Get the fuck in there. There we go. I like doing my time lapse. Makes for good background content. For commentary that I plan on doing. Someday. Aside from this, I gotta catch up on some deep fat fry clips. Did catch up on goat versus fish. Now I need to catch up on deep fat fried. Okay. My last thing I need, paper towel. Alright. What do you want to do here? I'll finish off on this guy's eye and his hair. Picking up on some of the outside lines here. Yeah, it really meant a lot. People got kick out of those stickers. A lot of people like the birds with legs. Of everything, people like the birds with legs the most. A lot of people picked up the Nazi repellent, which is just a bullet with it says Nazi repellent. It's funny how the more simple things, with not as much thought into it, end up picking up more. And that's how it usually goes, right? Alright. Get his eye outline here. His eyelid. Is it the iris? Where all the color is. And then the pupil. I think that does it for all that. I'm just sticking up some of these outside lines though. And sit better in my chair so I'm not getting pain in my crotch. Yeah, I did title this video one of the principles me and my second husband were talking about. Kind of like, I'm not trying to act as some guru, I'm just basing things off on personal experience and ideas I have. But I've picked up on a couple of things I keep saying to people, so I decided, you know, I'm just going to try to share it with a broader audience. So I wrote down 5 things. Originally it was 4, but I came up with 5. Because 5 is a better number in terms of marketability. So I'm like, you know, there's 5 important principles to hold yourself to, I guess. 1, be skeptical. 2, think for yourself. 3, think critically. 4, accept the fact that you don't know anything. And 5, the learning never stops. And I think those last two are, like, real important things. I think a lot of people are lost, or at least when it comes to the internet, they like to pretend that, you know, that's not a thing. They like to pretend fake confidence or be overly confident in any of their responses to you or any of their statements that they make, to the point where it's just fucking embarrassing. Especially if you're just regurgitating talking points from a political class of some sort. That's very fucking embarrassing. Oh, I don't know why you would act as a fucking fool. Like, there's one person I know that I went to high school with who just constantly would post about fucking anti-abortion shit. And it's just the same shit every fucking day. It's like, are you getting paid to do this shit? Because if you're not, this is very fucking sad. Just the same tired talking points, the same bullshit about life starts at conception. If you abort babies, you should be killed, or, you know, arrested for murder. It's murder. But I'm all for, you know, the Palestinian genocide. I'm going to talk about these people getting killed in Nigeria, but I only care about them getting killed in Nigeria because they're Christian. Otherwise, I don't give a shit about them. You know, these people that act like bots. And I think it's just very important to accept the fact that you don't know anything. And myself included. You know, what I'm referring to is just, when it comes to a subject that you're not specialized in, why are you acting so fucking confident about it, like you know it? Like, at the end of the day, for example, when it comes to maybe, like, vaccines, for example, you know, we can go back and forth about why vaccines are good. And you can go and tell me why you think they are bad. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what either of us think, right? One of us is going to have a bunch of sourced information and proven science, and the other one's just going to have a bunch of fucking talking head scripts regurgitating that they got from the internet or Reddit. Who do you think is going to be proven more who's likely going to be proven correct? The one with science and evidence backing them up, or the one with a bunch of fucking internet talking points they picked up on? And I usually use that to end any kind of, like, online argument, because arguing on the internet is fucking useless. I just like making this fucking eye here is useless, because apparently I needed to reevaluate the size of the pupils. That's okay. That's what the white's for. Now, when it comes to dentistry, who's likely going to be correct? My dentist, when it comes to diagnosing whatever problem I have, or me doing a Google search? And chances are, if you go to their doctor, someone who's went to school for thousands of hours, and has a degree, whatever diagnosis they make, chances are it's going to be correct, compared to some dipshit on Reddit talking about ivermectin. I went ahead and speaking of which, yeah, Luckily, thankfully, one of my aunts was diagnosed with breast cancer. She is now cancer-free. Praise be to medical science. You know, the thing that actually helps people. Speaking of that, though, it is amazing that how cancer is like one of the most exploited conditions. But I get it. If you're gonna die anyways, why not try everything just in case? But I don't hold anything against people who try things for themselves. I definitely hold it against the people who try to promote bullshit as the cure. I don't get how you can fucking stomach doing that. I have 3 friends with cancer. And guess what? They took some textile dye shit, and now they're fine. It works, man. It works. Oh yeah, what else did they do? Oh, they went to the doctor and had chemotherapy and, you know, did a bunch of tests. And, oh, so they did the thing that actually, you know, is proven to work. Or what's worse, you know, if someone does the treatment under, you know, after being told, like, hey, this, you know, this treatment's not guaranteed in this case because it's very severe. And they do the woo science on top of it. And then they die. They're like, oh, man, the woo science would have been the thing to cure them, but the fucking chemo killed them. Like, no. They were just so infested that it just couldn't help them anymore. But, you know, are you going to really argue with someone who's lost someone to cancer? Not going to argue that hard with them. Especially in the grieving process. So we're just going to scrape off the ink here. Just a little bit. Using the tip of the X-Acto blade. But I think people would go a long way just humbling themselves a little bit and just understanding that they don't know anything. The only sure thing is that we know nothing. And I get it, too. Trying to educate yourself is a hobby. In some ways, it can be a full-time job. Just pick a topic. Pick a recent topic. Oh, trans people. That's the hot topic, right? You got these millionaires paid by billionaires to stoke false stories about children getting gender reassignment surgeries. In their statistics, they'll often include boys. I stress the term boys getting breast reduction surgery, for example. We're talking plus-size boys who have large breasts getting reduction surgery, so they don't have large breasts, to affirm their identified masculinity that they were born with and still have. Similar situations when it comes to girls. And that's about it. And there's no teenagers or underage kids having genital reassignment surgery And they'll dig something up. They'll dig up something of a boy with a botched circumcision. There was that incident where a kid had a botched circumcision. Doctors finished it off. The psychologist suggested that they could just raise them as a girl, and that would work because it's all about environment, right? It's not about how you're born. But it turns out it is how you're born. That's a factor. So that just reaffirms the whole trans identity being an actual identity. They try to spin it and use it against it. It's like, see, this is what happens if you try to reassign it. It's like, no, the doctor's fucked up because they brutalized the child with a procedure that shouldn't be allowed to begin with. Why is circumcision still a thing? Why is that never even brought up by these fucking conservatives? Ever. All these conservatives arguing against trans people, they won't even address the argument of circumcision. I don't think they even mentioned it once. At least all the clips I've seen. And if they do, I bet you they'll try to say, well, we can do that, but first we gotta stop this. This is much more dire and important. Because it's happening right now. And you tell them, no, it actually isn't. Because in the end, they're just paid to market and promote an idea that doesn't exist. And they rely on the fact that a lot of people don't have the time to educate themselves on the topic. See, we're going right back into it. It takes time to be politically aware. It takes time to learn something that doesn't relate to you, that doesn't immediately connect with you. And being queer kind of goes down the road of understanding other people who are different from the norm. But for someone who's got a job and a family and they don't know anyone that's trans and never experienced any feelings of that nature, what's their exposure to it? A 30-second clip on Fox News, news story here they might have come across on YouTube. As again, astroturfed into their feed. And that's about it. You know, maybe our Pierce Morgan clip, because he's another millionaire. Paid off by billionaires to promote a certain angle. To come out with the most broad appeal opinion on a subject so that they can keep their ratings up. And come out with the least amount of complaints. Really sad. Real fucking sad. And I'm trying to roll back away from the idea of like being self-important and elitist about knowing this shit. Because I have to come back and understand like the people falling for the marketing campaigns are just victims. They're victims. They're being taken advantage of over the fact that they just don't have the interest or the time. Because if our media system was just in any way, if it was objective, they would just get word on the understanding of social scientists. Oh, someone brought up the issue of trans people in sports. But as we can show you right here in 30 seconds, the amount of people playing those sports that are trans is next to zero in a lot of states. And, it's recognized by the scientific community that trans women are women, trans men are men, gender is a spectrum that's made up, like race and the boogeyman and God. And you can just go about your day. Go to your job. Have fun. Instead of getting a bunch of isolated people riled up over fucking nothing. But we can't have that because we have a 24-hour news cycle that has to make hay out of everything. Else suffer the ratings consequences. If you have the time and you're able to say to yourself, well, I don't know much about this subject, so I'll look into it myself. You go to some reputable place that actually has studies and articles from credible people on the source, like, I don't know, psych2go.com for some shit. And you're gonna go, oh, okay, so this is what toxic masculinity means. Oh, this is what trans is. Okay. Here's the actual statistics on violent crime. Here's the actual statistics on trans people. Here's the downward, not trend, but here's the downward slope as people become more accepted. Less people come out as trans, as normal, just like the left-handedness. Cool, now I can go about my day being less of a fucking idiot. I did that in a matter of 10 minutes. Like, I can tell you one time where I was buying into it a little bit. Well, there's no little bit. You either buy into it or not. Well, never mind. I'll take that back. I'd say, there's a spectrum to it. But one of the topics that kept coming up back in, like, 2015 was the idea of a trans trender. Of people who are just saying they're queer for some, like, brownie points among their, like, social circles. Or Hollywood or whatever. And it's to the point where I was thinking, like, oh, maybe that whole, like, homophobia shit's kind of, like, dead. In, like, schools and shit. And I remember thinking, like, oh, yeah, maybe that is a thing. Like, someone's just acting, like, really flamboyant and queer and dressing up in opposite gender clothing just so they can, like, be different for the sake of it. And this whole idea of, like, what qualifies someone of actually being, like, trans. Like, no, you gotta go the whole way. You gotta go through all the therapy and everything. You gotta look like a typical attractive woman in order to be considered truly trans. The attempt of gatekeeping and shit were there. And I thought, oh, yeah, maybe there's something to, like, the idea that there's just people out there pretending to be something that they're not, just for the sake of social acceptance. And it's like, well, as you get to know people who are trans, yeah, you pick up on other stories, personal stories from people, whether they share them online or to you in person. You start to recognize, like, oh, yeah, there's still a whole load of homophobia and shit going on. That's still going on heavily. That's still a huge thing. Yep, racism is still a huge thing. Turns out that never went away either. In fact, a lot of it's still in place mainly because of how the system is run and set up. I just don't get how you can be wrong about something and instead of, like, reflecting on it, you just double down and just become an embarrassment, become a living embarrassment. I remember, see, I was watching, there's a show, I don't know if it's still going on, but it's like a one-man show where he streams and he's just overcritical about everyone on the internet that he comes across. I guess anyone that expresses themselves on the internet is fair game, because you know they're not being normal enough for this person. And he was interviewing another guy on, and these are pretty big people, so I just won't say their names unless I want the clout. I don't know. Do I want their attention? Probably not. But host one was talking about this story, and he's like, "Man, imagine it. You're like just like some cis normal guy, right? You're straight, but you're like in this environment in high school, and like everyone's like trying to be out queer each other, and you're like being pressured to like be unique in some way, and just say that you're queer, non-binary, or they or whatever. It's like, where is that happening? When is that happening? How did it happen? What world is this guy living in? Because he's not in high school anymore, that's for sure. So where do you get the impression that like this shit's like a thing in high school where people are just being pressured into saying they're queer when they're not? Even just like the most basic thing of saying like they're non-binary or something. Where's that pressure coming from? What peers? Who? And it's just like the fucking kids being transed. Where's that happening? Who? Where's these stories? Where's the stories from all these like traumatized kids saying how they were roped into being trans when they weren't? You have like the same 4 people who detransitioned because they figured it wasn't for them and decided it wasn't, therefore it shouldn't be for anyone. You got those same 4 people that keep coming to get trotted out. Or eventually there'll be some other pick-me's. I mean, you gotta pay for their medical bills somehow, right? It's, you know, universal health care. Their insurance ain't gonna take care of it, whatever they have. Yeah, where's the slew of kids that are coming out saying that, yeah, I was forced to transition when I was 5, and you know, now I'm 12, and I just regret the surgery. I regret everything. You know, my mom forced me into it. Where's that coming? Where are those stories? It's like the whole kitty litter shit. The people identifying as cats. Where'd that go? That didn't, you know. Where's the announcement saying like we fired all those teachers and shit that were doing that? We kicked out all those students that were saying that. Where is it? Where's the announcements? Is it something that just never fucking happened to begin with? You know, the people who bought into it for a second, you know, they should be fucking pissed off. They should be pissed off at any media organization or any person with any kind of power or authority promoting that shit. Would you trust a goddamn word out of anyone's mouth if they said that they're an expert on like news media and what's happening in the world, and they said this is actually happening and it turns out it's not? Would you trust a single fucking thing that came out of their fucking mouth after that? Like, why would you? Like, I don't understand how... Well, I understand how Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh and all of them still have audiences. It's because they don't. They just get subsidies from their fucking company, Daily Wire, and donations from their billionaire donors to keep going. Because someone will buy it. Some young lonely kid who's like a nerdy kid will probably buy into it and end up like some Nazi cat boy when they start hitting their mid-teens. They gotta keep the division going. I know my goals this week are to, first, we'll catch up on this, as I'm doing right now. I got another major commission to do. Start the process on that when I can. But I also got to catch up on Deep Fat Fry clips. I want to start my Plague Dogs video. I have the script written, I just haven't had time to fucking record it yet. I got some new stickers I need to make. Not just for the okay meme, but I got another one too I'm working on. I don't want to reveal it until it's done. I think it'll be a popular one when I go to Anthro, Ohio in the next couple months here. Yeah, Frogstein. Chrono Trigger. Ah! Fucking message came through and scared me. Ooh. Oh, ink cartridges. Yep, do not do printers with ink cartridges. Too damn expensive. That extra bit of plastic makes all the difference. think I should be pretty much done with the details here before I have to leave. Just gotta remember, like, the ink replaces any kind of, like, shading. And I love the cross-hatching so much because it does just... takes care of all the shading for you, really. Once you get it down. Cross-hatching. I've realized, even in digital format, like, there's no reason to mix a lot of different colors and stuff to do gradients and shading and all that once you get it down. Not a lot, if anything. All right. Like, I won't get a new printer for a while, so better just enjoy the one I have. Gotta figure out our dog's insurance. It just went up another $100 a year. And then I got to register the vehicle. And because the vehicle I have is electric, it's 3 times as much money. Because of course it is. They gotta make up for the fact I'm not using a lot of gas. Or oil, to do oil changes. Or coolant fluid changes, and air filter changes. And all the other fucking useless shit you have to do with a fucking gas-powered vehicle. You know, fuck whoever hindered. If there's any justice in this fucking world, the people who hindered like the progress of the electric car wouldn't be here anymore. I'm gonna say that. You hinder fucking humanity's progress, you just deserve everything that's coming to you. You know, like a weather event, An accident. Anything. You know, full stop, you're just a piece of shit. Funny enough, there's a bunch of people that got mad on DeviantArt because I posted the anti-fascism sticker there. I like how these dumbasses think that it's brave to be in stance with the government. Oh yeah, I'm so brave. I stand with the government. I'm so brave. Look at how brave I am. I support what the government's doing. They're in favor of me. I'm in favor of it. People who are, you know, pro-ICE, I mean, they're, you know, accomplices to murder at this point. In my opinion. That's just my opinion, though. But, you know, are you not? There's a genocide going on, and your support of the action of the government doing that genocide, doesn't that make you kind of an accomplice to their genocide? Why not? Why wouldn't it be? Okay. What else? Anything else I really need to... I think I got all the shading done here. Just a little bit on the hair here and there. Probably lay a little bit of it thick on the tongue here, just because I think I made it a little too dark. This will probably be one of the times I do a lot of color pencil here to correct some things. Dark shadow here. Crap. I left it alone there. Yeah, overthinking it. Like, I was overthinking the anti-fascism stickers. Like, I changed the title for it like 3 times, and like, no. Stop. You'll be poking at it forever. Just go with what you have. You like it. Other people already like it. Go with it. Think critically. Think for yourself. Be skeptical. Accept the fact you don't know anything. And the learning never stops. I think those are good measures to live by. I look forward to catching up on some Resident Evil in the next couple weeks. Hopefully sooner than that. By that, I mean Squigs is going to be playing some Resident Evil Revelations 2. Get ready for Resident Evil 6. And then from there, move on to 7 and 8 and get ready for 9. Hopefully by then, all the bugs and everything else that needs to be fixed in 9 will be fixed. As far as I'm concerned, it's, you know, it's another Resident Evil game. Looks good. I'm up for it. I did like how Revelations 2 explores, has a little more characterization to it. With Jill and Barry having a daughter that you play with. You know, I don't think we get much characterization with Leon and Chris Redfield or anything, really. They're just like, we're here to stop bad guys, because bad. We good. They bad. Any questions? Oh, god damn it. How the fuck did I do that? Son of a bitch. Gotta be more careful. That's what we'll do here, you know. Shade in these areas. Yeah, I just have to wait for that to dry, and then I'll scratch it out. Get the lines down for colors here. I think my X-Acto knife wasn't opened. Alright. Just kind of let this dry, and then, I don't know if I'll scratch it out or just paint over it. Probably paint over it and put some color pencil over it. Just lay down some thick watercolor, and I'll, should take care of it. After I scratch it out, which I will. My little splotch. This shit happens. It's part of the charm, I guess, for some people. Okay, other than that, it's looking good. Hiccups aside. Okay, that's better. Yep. Roll it up. Mm. Okay, feel better now. I was able to get this pretty much done. At least the next part. Next will be a few corrections here and there once this dries, and then doing the color. If I get really a bit ambitious, switch this off. Work on the next commission. Switch back and forth. But alas, it's only if I get enough time to do that. Gotta get these deep fat fried clips done first. Oh, I just saw something I can fix. I'm gonna head out soon. Gotta get to the job. Okay.